What is up, everybody? It is Tuesday, May 31st, 2022, and that means it is time for the Monster Maverick Show. So it's been a holiday weekend and quite a week since last time, and Doogie's actually made it. Oh my god, for the first time. Uh, I need to publish my tweet saying we're live. There we go. So this is the Monster Maverick Show, the show all about Splinterlands, but from the perspective of investment, money, financial stuff, modeling, math, expected values, all that jazz. So this is not a stream about how to pick the best team, but it is the stream about how to earn the most out of this play to earn economy that we have. So that is what the Monster Maverick Show is about. And if you're curious why I'm talking about this, so I've been in Splinterland since the first day back in May 2018. So I guess it's been 4 years now. I've pretty much been around every day since. Some lulls here and there, but it's I've been in it to win it the whole time. My weekly math show. So I've been around a long time in my day job life. I run a tax firm, tax planning, consulting kind of stuff. So basically, I do math all day, every day. Is kind of the bottom line, and I take that and I apply that to what we have here at Splinterlands as far as all the spreadsheets and whatnot. They call me McSpreadsheet. Also in the Splinterlands ecosystem, I'm probably last I checked, still the largest individual holder of Splinterlands assets outside of, basically outside of Aggro, fundamentally. And I don't count him because it's his company, so so that I think is not a fair comparison. But for outsiders, at least last I checked, I was number one. It's getting more and more complicated to track that because people are starting to segment their collections, which I've done as well. So there's very few single accounts that are holding, huge amounts. But a lot of people will own I've got like 18 accounts that are all holding different types of assets in Splinterlands. So it's a little bit hard to track. But as far as I know, I'm still number one. So then I'm also 50% of the team behind X Chaos, which was a launch pool that we put together with my partner Gerber, and that is it was a launch pool in that people were putting funds together in order to get into the Chaos Legion launch for Phase 3. There was there was a pre-sale, there was a Phase 1 gated period with vouchers, and there was a Phase 2, which I call them 1, 2, 3. For general sale, and so everybody who bought an X Chaos token got a Chaos Legion pack, and is also getting their share of the airdrops that we are receiving over time, both SPS and cards, and both of those are being sold into the market for DEC. Then the DEC is distributed to everyone proportionally. So that's actually been a great win for people who were not buying enough packs to guarantee themselves airdrops. So, we are coming up on the Life Summoner airdrop here in the next however long, when the next million packs rolls over. And, the people who bought less than, I don't know what the actual number is right now, 550, 575, somewhere in there. If they bought less than that number of Chaos Legion packs, then they're not guaranteed anything as far as the airdrop goes, because, it's just the expected value of the type of legendary card that it is. So if you were one of those smaller buyers, you'd be better off having bought an X Chaos token, so that you would get the DEC value of that airdrop, because we sell everything into the market, and everybody gets their proportional share. But it's it just pays out every day, and we take a rolling average of the wallet balance and just distribute it over time. So the SPS airdrop portion of that is going to be ending here in 60 days or so, but the card airdrop values will continue as long as we get card airdrops, which looks like it's going to be a while. And then I'm also 50% of the team behind the Venari Syndicate, which is an actual, I mean, it's a hedge fund, it's syndication, where we take partners on and we take people who want to get involved in the Splinterlands ecosystem. We deploy their capital into the game and we generate yield, mostly from rentals. And we do a little bit of other stuff around it, but rentals is the primary thing. Shaggy Laws is spamming the chat. All right, okay. And Yabba's here. With the new changes, I'm going to need to be battling while listening to the show. Hope you don't mind. That's okay, Yabba. You can do whatever you want. Yabba's the other half of the founding team behind Splinterlands, if you don't know, which you should know if you're listening to the show. For the Venari Syndicate, you do have to be an accredited investor in the U.S., which means that you have like either $250,000 or $500,000 of income for the last 2 years, or $1 million net worth outside of your primary residence, which a lot of Splinterlands players have now, actually. But if you're not one of those, but you refer somebody who is, then you get some residuals from the management fees on our side. We'll give you basically half of our fees there, more or less. Yabba doesn't have time to play, so that's why he needs to play while listening. That's okay. Doogie's giving him some stuff, but yeah. So that's me, and that is this show, and why I might have something that might be relevant to say about all things Splinterlands, at least when it comes to the financials. So that's the intro. Let's go ahead and hit the theme song because I like it. All right, so I did unclick the repeat button there, which is good. I'm glad that worked. But let's get into this week's stuff. So it's been a big week in the Splinterlands world. We had node sales. We had the end of the old reward system and the birth of the new one at 10 a.m. this morning. So it was about 8 hours ago. And people are already reacting to it. The new rewards cards were included in last season's season rewards. So people who claimed, their season rewards, their chests, they were the old style chests, but they had the new rewards cards in them. So a good chunk of those got out, and they've made their way into the marketplace. So we're gonna review all that kind of stuff, and and then if we have time, we'll open some packs because I still have like 30-something thousand packs to open for Chaos Legion. So, let's get into it. So first thing, obviously today was Rewards Change Day, and everybody's excited about that. But before we get to that, let's go over to notes. And Warren here has given me the perfect segue. How many validator licenses did you end up with? Well, I started so during the pre-sale, I got 21. And then, since then, I bought a few more once once Tranche 1 went live, and then since then, I think I got up to like 25 at that point. And since then, I've been rolling all of my SPS airdrop into additional licenses, and now I'm up to 30. So I'm number 10 on the license holder list, and I'm gonna keep on cranking there because I can't believe how nutty people are being. So if we go over to the nodes, let's go to the stream or the browser here. And if we go to nodes, we will see that we are still in Tranche 1, and there are 2,626 remaining. That is insane to me. It is crazy to me that these are not going faster. So pre-sale obviously was the best deal, right? It was $1,000 of SPS and 500 vouchers. So now we are into Tranche 1, which, if you look at the language that, in the table, it says $3,000 or and then you can apply up to 500 vouchers at a $3 discount. Okay, fine. Fundamentally, what that means is that it's $1,500 and 500 vouchers instead of $1,000 and 500 vouchers. And we can see in the voucher price that the interest has declined pretty substantially. So during pre-sale, vouchers got up to like 210, I think, as a max. But they were trading in the 180, range. While that was leading up to being live, everybody went in and bought their licenses, and the pre-sale portion sold out in 10 minutes. And then things slowed down significantly. So yes, it is true that Tranche 1 is more expensive than pre-sale. Sort of, right? So right now, vouchers are trading at like $1.20 something. Let's go to BSwap. Let's go to swap. Oh, and I've been meaning to say forever, if you guys aren't using the BSwap wallet, you should. And I'll show you why in just a second. So vouchers are trading at $1.23. So let's see, $1.23 times 500, right, is, I get my calculator to come up, so 123 times 500 is $615 plus $1,500, $2,115 for a tranche 1 right this second. And then in pre-sale at $1.80, let's call it $1.80. So $1.80, oops, not divided by 1.8 times 500 plus 1,000 is $1,900. So basically, same price. I mean, close enough, within 10%. When you factor in the actual voucher cost of everything. So it's only slightly more expensive and then depending on when you got your vouchers, you might have actually paid more in pre-sale than you would pay right now. And what Icy Flow is saying is true, is that they cost a lot and the payoff is far away. Yes, that is true. We're looking at Q4 is what Yeba has said. Although he's also said that he hopes to get it out earlier, and payouts hope to come out earlier, but we can't rely on that. That's just hope. But the rate of return is insane. So and I don't think people really appreciate that. So let's go over to the spreadsheets, and I'll show you what I mean. Go to the nodes. Node models, okay, and spreadsheets. So here's current prices, right? So during pre-sale, I had taken a snapshot, probably like right before it went live. 10.6 cents of per SPS, and vouchers were trading at $1.90, 1.90583. So if we take that number, let's see, what's the 1,500 or 1,000. Plus 500 times $1.90 instead of $1.80. Now it's 1952, and here we've got it's 21.15 is what, like we said. So really, really close. If Bitcoin dumps a 200-week moving average, which is about $21,000, nodes will become really cheap, and I might get one. Okay, fair enough. So the question is like, okay, so let's say we have to put this away for 6 months, and then payments turn on, right? I think that's the worst case scenario. So right now, if you stake your SPS, you are making 45.41%, and I got that from the site, an hour or two ago, and that's SPS and vouchers combined create that yield. So if instead of staking at 45%, you put this away for 6 months, and then payments start turning on, what happens? It's like, well, in tranche 1, we're still at 119%, right? So let's do quick math, right? 119%. If we have to wait 6 months, the next 12-month yield gets cut in half, right? So it goes down to it's 59.5%. So 59.5% in the worst case scenario is higher than 45%. So for me, it's a no-brainer. I'm going to be dumping as much SPS and vouchers as I can into the nodes. Yaba, we're getting alpha from Yaba. I'm working on a post about this, but we're going to start the earnings in August, even if the code isn't ready by then. Oh, so if that's a real commitment, Yaba, then that makes it even more attractive because August is 3 months away. So depending on when in August, right? Because we're at the end of May, so June, July, August, 3 months to the end of August, or 2 months and change to the beginning of August, whatever that is. So that is not very long. So 100%, potentially something even sooner to help promote sales. Yeah. So okay, so instead of cutting that in half, now we're cutting that in by 25%. Let's say. So whatever 119% is times 3/4 is 89%, and that's going 3 months with nothing, right? So, and then from there on out, it's just going to get better because the question is like what is SPS going to be trading at? What are vouchers going to be trading at? Once I think two things are happening. So gamble and wait as long as possible to buy tranche one before they run out. That is an option. Okay, fair enough. Uh, so once payments turn on, SPS, the inflation of SPS is going to continue to drop on a month over month basis. So I have a chart here. So we are right about here. We're in May 22, right there. So the private sale has ended. The 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 airdrop is going to be ending in 2 months, and then the rate of inflation is going to be way lower. So whoever wanted SPS, it's kind of pretty late. It's going to be harder to get. So it's going to be harder to get. So supply is decreasing, and then demand. I tend to think is going to do well. We have the whole new reward system that we've already seen has had really positive impacts on the marketplace for cards and for rentals. So I think SPS is going to remain a desirable asset. And then once people realize this and they say, oh, maybe I should buy some licenses, then that arbitrage pressure is going to close on the price of vouchers, and then they won't be $1.20 anymore. They'll be going up to $3 or $5, whatever that discount rate is where the arbitrage pressure should lead to. It's never going to be there exactly, but it's going to be, as long as people are buying, licenses, then it creates that buying pressure to close that gap. So right now, buying pressure is very low, and I'm buying vouchers at $1.20. So, I go to I bought one today actually. The I go to the validated nodes thing, and I put in one here, and I put in 500 there, and so right now it's 15,592 SPS plus 500 vouchers, and that's pretty reasonable, I think. For making 119, let's call it 120% for round numbers. Um, yeah, true needs. So SPS node licenses will get an airdrop of. Well, it's not an airdrop. It's the the model of how everything's working. But yeah, that will. Yaba is saying that will start in August. I don't know if it's beginning of August or end of August, but August. Uh, so do you want? So if you're holding SPS at all, right? So if you're just dumping it, then fine, that's a whole different story. But if you're holding SPS because you want to take part in governance, because you think it has potential upside in the future, it makes way more sense to buy nodes than it does to stake SPS. And it blows my mind that people aren't seeing this. So yes, there is that waiting period, but it's not that long. Even before we do August, even 6 months is not that long to wait to get a significantly higher return. So I'm literally buying as fast as I can in terms of taking my airdrop and rolling it over into node licenses. But you guys do what you want. I'll take all the cheap licenses I can get. So maybe I shouldn't have said anything. I don't know. But and then and the thing to keep in mind with these numbers is that this is SPS on SPS returns. So that means I put in one SPS, I get out 1.2. So, if the price of SPS rises over time, the US dollar value of that return increases. But that's kind of a separate speculation. I'm bullish on SPS with all the changes with Rift Watchers coming down the pipe. So that's just me, but everybody's going to have their own opinion. All right, so I think if you can, I think buying nodes makes sense. That's what I'm doing. Take it for what you want. Right. Okay. So we got a little bit of a change here in the structure of rewards. Give a saying, "Love my transparency." I think many people looked at my actions. Yeah, I mean, I'm being fully transparent here. I'll even show you. I go to the peak monster. So one of the reasons I'm so transparent is because there are no secrets on the blockchain. Anybody who cares to look can see. So we can say SPS validators, and there I am, number 10 with 30. And so that's up 5 from the launch day. Uh, Icyflow would love to see a project that integrated zero knowledge proofs to the validation and runs on everyone's computer while playing with a small payout for the processing. Okay. I was actually reading a post about zero knowledge proofs on legal finance the other day, and I understand the concept. I don't know how it works in actual practice, but it's interesting stuff. So yeah, we got Nintendo Doggy, Nintendo, I don't know, 179, Snowboy 139, SPS Whale 60, Michael B 50, SL Hive 47. So SL Hive is the escrow account that Splinterlands holds on behalf of tokens that are ported over to Hive Engine. So that's not a real, a real person or a real account. Blockchain FF 43, Master Sorcerer 38, BK 300, BNB 35, Queen of Monsters 35, and then there's me at 30. So, most of these have not changed very much since launch day. So I'm gonna see if I can crack 35 here in the next couple weeks and get up to number 8. But we'll see how it goes. So after all that happened, so it's been a bit of a week. We had the season end this morning. We got the new we got the new rewards cards in the chests, and we got the new system launched. After 10 a.m. Eastern time, which is where I am. So I went ahead and I looked at the marketplace, and this always happens with new cards. SPS Whale is aggroed. That is actually public knowledge, so I can tell you that. So if we look at the Chaos Legion rewards, if we look at the grid, so what ends up happening is that when a new card or a new set of cards comes onto the marketplace, supply is extremely limited, right? And there's still demand. So prices start off very high, and then as supply increases, then prices tend to come down, and then they hit a trough, and then supply starts to run out as the print run finishes or goes towards finishing, and price starts to rise again. So that's the standard dynamics that we've seen in all Splinterlands, pretty much all Splinterlands stuff, but especially with rewards cards. So we're seeing that happen here. So apparently we're actually missing a few cards that are, I guess there are no listings right now. But so, this is my cards. I'm in the wrong place. Chaos Legion, common. There we go. All right, so let's look at the regulars for a second. So we got Bloodmaker, Murd Hamper, Ever Hungry Skull, Vampire Bat. Those are the commons. You can see the skew of the ratio here is enormous. It's like 10 to 1. So Venari Heatsmith at the low end is trading at 1.7 cents, and then Bloodmaker, which is the cheapest of the new ones, is 12.4 cents, and then on up through Vampire Bat is 22.4 cents. And Pellicor Conjurer, the highest of the old commons, 2.4 cents. So pretty much a 10 to 1 kind of almost across the board proportionally. And then we look at the rares, a similar kind of story. Let's see, we got 3 new rares: Volgreen, Vampiric Blossom, Dampier Infiltrator. I'm surprised that Dampier is going for as much as it is. I mean, it's a good card. It's got the double strike. It's got the sneak. It's got cripple. It's got affliction. That's a monster card, but it's dragon, so it's a little bit more limited compared to the normal splinters. But you can see 6.5 cents up compared against $1.37. The Volgreen is 65 cents, so a big gap there. And but the bids are whatever they are. That doesn't mean they're filling, right? So the market value, the way Peak Monsters calculates them, is basically the most recent sale. So it's of all the metrics of card values, I like the market value from Peak Monsters the best. I think it's the most representative of what's actually happening. And if there's no trades in the history that Peak Monsters looks at, it just takes the bid value as the market value. So then we go to epics. We have two new epics: Revealer, Tidebiter, 33 cents against $1.50, 34 cents against $1.50. So not quite as extreme as we saw in the commons and rares, about 5x between the old and the new. And for legendaries, we got three new ones: Jared Scar, Venator, Kinjo, Countess Sinash. And these are hefty. So $1.75 to $14. So almost a 10x there, maybe 8 or so. And then on the high end, 220 against 1650. So, it's there's a hefty premium on getting these cards early. So for myself, I tend to wait. They're good cards. I mean, you can see one of the great things about the Splinterlands marketplace is that you can use price to determine relative utility. So, within within a class, right? So for the moment, people are valuing Countess Sinaj, at about 10-15% more than Jared Scar, and so what that tends to end up translating to is that it's actually 10 to 15% more useful in the game. The Swindler's Marketplace has been remarkable at that over time as far as distilling the actual value to gameplay. And it goes by class because each class, and by class I mean edition, foil, and rarity. Within each class, then there is a relative difference between supply and print numbers and maximum potential cards and all that kind of stuff. So would you get filled at a price between the bid and the ask? Maybe. This is not, these are NFTs, right? So this is not a super liquid market. It's just the nature of what an NFT is. Each one is individual. So you have to do your best as far as if you want to do bids. Is there a way to see those limit orders on Peak Monster? Yeah, there is. You can go to card bids, and you can see right there. So the highest bid right now is $13.61. And if you're a seller, you can say, well, I want to hit the bid, or I'll price somewhere in between, or I'll go after the market value. Any number of selling strategies that you can employ. But so the lowest ask right now is $28, and the highest bid is $13. So pretty much a 100% spread on that one. So and obviously the legendary is going to have less supply than a common. So of all the new cards, the legendary new cards are going to be the least liquid. So you could look at card by card and see what it is you want to do. So, but that creates interesting things, right? Because remember, we got the new reward system. So we have all the separated chests. So like if I go to my battle screen, so I finished last season in Gold League, which means I'm going for gold chests. And I played a little bit. I played for about an hour earlier today, and I managed to get one season chest and one focus chest at the same time. So, one of the big things is, well, how much are those chests worth? Am I equating card relative utility with win rate percentage or some other metric? I'm equating card relative utility with market demand, basically, and the market demand is a function of win rates. So it's how in demand is it within the current meta, and that can change over time. But it's a pretty good. The market price is a very good proxy for that translation to usefulness in the game. I gotta stop losing. Yeah, so I have a rule. When I lose 3 in a row, I stop. It's just like if you're a trader and you're doing the stock market, you have a stop loss. If you work for a hedge fund or prop trading desk, they'll have money management rules, and as you lose more and more, you reduce your size, and eventually you stop if you hit like a maximum loss for the month or something. And so I've applied that same kind of rule methodology to Splinterlands, because after a while, you kind of go blind to what's going on. And so for me, it's three. If I lose three in a row, I'm probably going to lose like eight in a row. So I just stop, and I'll come back later and reassess when I have a different set of eyes. And I'm a bit rested. So the question is, how much is that gold chest worth, right? Because there's different things that go into it. Remember, there's DEC, there's potions, there's packs, and there's rewards cards. And when the rewards cards are really high priced, like we're seeing right now, the chests are going to be very high priced. So if we go over back to the sheet, and we go to where, okay, new rewards. So so the major calculation that goes into this is the average value of these rewards cards. So with the new mix, you're going to get some old and some new, right? And those new ones drag up the value of the average card that you get in that chest. So with the current numbers, current value of DEC, current value of packs on the secondary market, I value the potions at 0, and the current value of rewards cards, we can see this right here. So a bronze chest is worth 8 cents, a silver chest is worth 16 cents, a gold chest is worth 31 cents, a diamond chest is 46 cents, and a champion chest is $1.08. Which, if you remember looking at this chart last week, the champion chest was like 45 cents, 42 cents, something like that. So almost a 3x, 2.5x, let's say. So, I mean, crazy pumping when we have this supply shock issue and we're able to sell cards in a high-priced environment. So, just, the way I would look at it is that if you're getting a bunch of chests and you're getting a bunch of rewards cards, you're in one of those diamond or champion leagues, I would sell those rewards cards, until the prices come down and come more in line with the older rewards cards, and then you start building up your supply because take advantage of the high prices while they're here because they won't be here for forever. You got to ride that wave, and then when we hit that trough, in the middle of the print run, and maybe start buying before the absolute bottom. But when they're when you don't have a 10x spread between the the old rewards and the new rewards, then you just start building up your rewards cards into whatever you want to use, whether you're playing or you're renting or whatever. But we saw the positioning of this in the last season at the season end. So we if you've been in the rental markets, the step up to champion is very steep. Yes, that is true. If you've been in the rental markets, whether you're renting out your own cards or you're renting cards to use, you know that in the past, the end of season day, maybe 2 days, has been way more intensive, way more expensive than the rest of the season, basically. So for my numbers, I rent out almost all my cards. The last day of the season was 30% of the entire season's earnings, and then. But this past season, people were positioning, right? Because we have this whole new system, rolling out, and so this season's earnings depended on where you ended up in last season's leagues, and so the intensity of the end of season was, more than we've seen in any other season to date, and we saw lots of rewards cards going at like 500%, in terms of return on asset as far as. So basically, people were willing to pay 5 times what a card costs, per year, but for 1 day, right? So, 5 times divided by 365 is a small fraction, but still, if you own those cards, then that's a really nice income for that day. So that worked out really well, as everybody was trying to jockey for position to get into the place that they wanted to in order to get the new chests in this season. Why is there an ant on my desk? Okay, so let's see. I'm going to catch up on chat here for a second. Let's see. Any explanation as to how these things sell at this price? Is there literally no shot they can go up in value? I mean, it'd be hard. I mean, there's always going to be like a pump and then a peak and then a decline. So where we are exactly in that process, I don't know. I mean, maybe it goes up a little bit more, but you just have to think that more and more supply is coming. The demand is high, but it's not increasing, probably. So if with a steady demand and an increasing supply, price has to go down. Remember those from your econ 101 class, the marginal supply, marginal demand graphs, and where they intersect was the equilibrium price. So as supply increases, that graph shifts to the left, and the price goes down. Let's see. Yada says we're going to see how things actually play out after season, and then make adjustments if necessary. Talking about that diamond to champion gap, because that is a hefty one. The under the current pricing model, the gold to diamond step is the weakest step of all the graduations to different leagues. So that I expect, if that ends up being an issue, then Yada and the team will adjust those values. So all the other steps are 2F gold to diamond. Yeah, that's what I was saying. Go try. It sounds like with the continued dividends, aka airdrops of SPS for all future plans, including nodes, there will always be inflationary pressures on SPS just at a decreasing rate. Do I agree? Yes, that is how that works. It will continue to increase, but the relative amount of increase is going to go down over time. So I actually have a chart on that. This is, where's the percentage? Here we go. Here's monthly inflation, right? So we started off, the first month was 100% inflation because there was none before, right? And then the next month was 50%, and then the next month was 33%. And what that means is like the amount of new SPS created in a month compared to the total supply up to that point. And now we are here into June of 22, which is tomorrow, and that's going to be 6.4% because the private sale payouts ended, so we're seeing a dramatic drop there, and then we just drop down and down and down. So by January of 2023, we're down to 4% per month, and then it'll just keep dropping. And there's a couple cliffs in there, but they're relatively minor because we're just compared to much larger cliffs early on. So the new SPS coming into the system, regardless of method, right? Whether it's license payouts, whether it's player staking, whether it's LP rewards, whatever the case, going to partners and advisors, going to the team, all that stuff is decreasing as a percentage of the total supply. So if you're familiar with the stock to flow models, Plan B is pretty famous on Twitter for the Bitcoin stock to flow model. We're just cranking down on that flow portion compared to stock. So if you think SPS has a future, which I do, then that is bullish for price because marginal supply is decreasing, not total supply, but marginal supply, and that's an important distinction to keep in mind. And you have to also remember that there's a lot of people out there who are basically black holes for SPS, and when they get it, it just stays there. So it basically gets removed from the supply for all practical purposes. And one thing I did want to hit on was actually the burning that we had with the node licenses. So in terms of SPS like total count, we went from 776 million last week, and we're down to 772 million this week. So the amount of SPS printed was about 11 million, something like that, and we actually went down 4 million. So we're talking 15 million-ish SPS disappeared from the supply. Vouchers, 1 million got whacked out of the supply, and then the oh, hold on one second. Okay, I'm back. Apparently something's happening upstairs. But the licenses are now being traded on the market, and the values are not quite matching up. So we lost $8 million worth of SPS, we lost $3 million worth of vouchers, and we gained $4.5 million worth of licenses in terms of resale value. So net lost about $7 million, which means that people are selling their licenses at a net discount, which is interesting. So if one thing to keep an eye on is those secondary market sales. So I went ahead, when I compile this each week, I go in through the market site, through the Leo decks mostly, and I compile the numbers. And the licenses were selling at about 4,000, 4,400 Hive, because all the Hive engine stuff is priced in Hive. And then somebody hit the bid at 2,200, so basically cut the price in half. And if you have one of those bids, then it can work out pretty well. uh, Personally, I don't like having that much Hive there, just kind of sitting there. So I'm just buying straight from the market, even though it may be slightly worse or slightly better depending on the actual transactions. Uh, so basically, $7 million worth of ecosystem value has disappeared because people are selling their licenses for a loss on a net basis, at least. Um, but overall, the total ecosystem grew by $4 million over the last week, which was nice. And the big winners, we had the promo markets, the promo cards; those went up 12%. Untamed went up 12%. Dice went up 16%. The the alpha packs, somebody bought some of those. Actually, packs all around were up over the last week significantly. Somebody rectified the rare totems, being sold off from the week before, because they went from 391 down to 100, and then back up to 430. The common totems, they pumped and came back, but kind of more steady state there. So overall, I would say a good week in terms of market value. We hit a low point here on the 10th, and we've been growing ever since. So I've been talking to some people about, like, is the bottom in for Splinterlands, and I think it's 50-50, because the internal dynamics for Splinterlands, I think, are really good. So we have burning of SPS, burning of vouchers through the node sales. Rift Watchers is coming soon. The node payouts apparently are coming in August, and that's going to be once those come out and people don't have to wait anymore, people are going to be more apt to buy, because that uncertainty is removed. So those are all bullish things. We got the new reward system. People are buying more cards. People are renting more cards, because you can't win with the starter cards anymore. So the something for nothing exploit has been removed. So all good things. So on that side, I would call that a plus. On the other side, we have the macro environment, right? So let's go over to charts, and the macro environment is still not great. So this is Bitcoin weekly chart. Yes, Jarvie, August, Yaba announced, gave us some alpha, a little while ago. So, Bitcoin's at a critical juncture. I think it's been bumping up along this $30,000 price line. If we zoom in a bit to the daily chart, we can see that better. So here, just a massive fight between the bulls and the bears here, between like 28 and change and like 32,000, and so the if Bitcoin and the total crypto market is able to keep this level and rise, or at least maintain, then I think those internal dynamics that are positive for Splinterlands will continue to generate positive returns. If, on the other hand, the support for the overall crypto markets breaks and we see Bitcoin drop to 20,000, 24,000, whatever it is, then no matter how good Splinterlands is on internally, it's going to suffer in that macro environment. So at this point, I'm kind of 50-50 as to whether the bottom is in. But I do track my own portfolio, obviously, and over the last season, my portfolio value was up 13%. So that's the first time I've had a significant uptick since the middle of November, when Bitcoin and everything else was at its peak. So I was happy to see that, and that is a pretty good sign, in that everybody is excited for the new changes and are positioning themselves accordingly. So overall, I'm a fan of the changes. My only uncertainty is not to do with Splinterlands, but to do with the overall macro environment. And unfortunately, while Splinterlands obviously has made a bunch of money, from all the players and everything, they're not going to be affecting the wider market. Even if every penny went into Bitcoin, it's still not enough to make a significant dent in this chart. And the long term chart, it's still not good. So. Could SPL assets indicate the crypto moves? No. It's a low market cap scenario compared to a larger market cap. So the smaller things can always go up and down within the larger channel, but it's not going to go the other way around. Let's see. I should probably catch up on some commentary here. Gibbs asking Yabba some stuff. Are there any security precautions you would advise if investing a large amount in the Splinterlands? Chiefly, is keychain vulnerable, like MetaMask with bad contracts, for example? That is actually a great question. I'm not aware of. So the only smart contracts that are available for Hive is Hive Engine and disregard fiat's thing, Deluxe. So there's not it's not quite the same, it's not quite analogous to MetaMask where anybody can publish any contract. So those are still centralized platforms within the decentralized ecosystem of Hive. So as far as I'm aware, there are not currently any security risks. There are people who can phish, that's a thing, where you could accidentally send somebody your keys if you click a bad link. But as far as the contracts themselves, no, as far as I'm aware. So there are no hard wallets or anything for Hive, as far as I know, and it would be a massive pain if there were. But you got to do your best. I mean, on Splinterlands, you can lock your cards. I employ most of my security through distributed accounts, in that nothing is in, not too much is in any one place, and then anything that is operating like in the games, I'll always delegate from a holding account into an operating account, so that the operating account doesn't have anything to get. So that's the way I do it, and but everybody has to do their own security. But that's a good question. Thinking in terms of trading, is there any platform that you're aware of to structure where you can short cards, SPS, etc.? No commentary on the market cards, on the market here, or future of the game. So as far as shorting, I'm not aware of any. There's automated market makers for SPS, but there's no futures markets or margin trading or anything like that that I know of. There's so SPS is on Gate, it's on Crypto.com, and it's on one or two others as far as centralized exchanges, and they may have additional functionality, but I don't use centralized exchanges at all. So so there's that. Let's see. Jarvis saying my daughter has a cute voice. Thank you very much. She's pretty cute. We like her. Can we buy the nodes on Hive and bring the nodes into the game and get the airdrops? Yes, you can. That reminds me. BSwap Wallet. I was talking about it for a second. So everybody should use BSwap Wallet because of this one function. If you go to your wallet and you go to Hive Engine or Splinterlands, so this is your Hive Engine wallet, for any Splinterlands assets, like here's my DEC, there's this little button, and it says transfer tokens to Splinterlands wallet. You press that, you put in the number, and it does it. It transfers your Hive Engine asset into Splinterlands or from Splinterlands into Hive Engine. And there's no mistakes. That's the key thing about BSwap, is that it eliminates the mistakes people have made through transferring in and out of Hive Engine and in and out of the game. So please, I don't want to read any more Discord messages. It's like, oh, I sent this thing to the wrong account. Can I get a refund? Because, it depends on what typo you made. So there are some people in the community who have registered typo accounts in order to save people and will refund your stuff. But if you don't hit one of those typos, then who knows where it goes. So please use BSwap to transfer stuff in and out, or the in-game interface if that's possible. Because there's certain situations where it's not, which is kind of an issue. But just don't send stuff manually by typing in addresses. So that kind of goes back to that security thing, where just use the tools that are there. Let's see, what else we got? Join SPL. Oh, it's just a bot. Yabba saying you should lock cards. That's all good. Do I know who Convict BUSD is? No idea. There's plenty of bots on the markets that are making markets and arbitrage and all that kind of stuff. Let's see. Yaba's saying, by the way, the combination of locking/staking assets and the Hive account recovery feature completely protects players from losing assets even if all their keys are stolen. This is such an important thing for bringing blockchain games to the wider gaming community, and I think it's something that no other blockchain games currently offer. Yeah, so if it's staked and or locked, then because of the unlocking time and the fact that you can recover your keys, which I'm not aware of any other blockchains that it can actually do that. Maybe EOS, because that's a Larimer project. Um, you can actually save yourself from nefarious actions or even just mistakes in certain situations. So yeah, I mean, lock, stake, do all that stuff. Um, I'm I'm definitely a fan. Okay, so so we got the new cards, we got the new chests. People are grinding, for the new chests, and we'll see how it all shakes out. But early signs are very positive that the community is responding to the incentives as designed, and maybe there's some tweaks here and there for as far as actual numbers go. But overall, I'm super pleased with how things are going, and we'll see how it all evolves. But for now, I'm taking every penny that I earn through rentals and I'm just buying more cards. And then I'm taking all my SPS airdrop and I'm buying more licenses. So I am definitely, letting the whole thing roll and betting on black, whatever the case may be. I think Splinterlands has a pretty bright future. And who was it that said, maybe it's Chatter, that says it's going to be the summer of Splinterlands, and I think there's a lot of truth to that with these changes, and then with Rift Watchers coming out here in a little bit, and now validator nodes paying out in August, so whole lot of stuff hitting hitting this summer. And Jarvis is complaining that I only do a 1 hour show. Well, yeah, I only do a 1 hour show, but let's go ahead and take a few minutes because we have about 8 minutes left. And let's open some packs because it's fun. So the Trudy is saying, what do you think are the best cards to buy and rent based on demand, not ROI? Well, ROI is a function of demand, so it's kind of an odd question. Let's see, do I have any potions? I don't think I do. I've got 3 of those and 5 of those. So let's open 1 pack manually, and then I'll go buy some more. What do you think? Anybody have odds on if I get anything good? Because the average pack is 4 commons and a rare. So do I do better than average? I do like the new animation for the Chaos Legion packs, I gotta say. Uh-oh. Hitting Teeth of Doom. Ah! Oh, there we go. Hill Giant. Deep Lurker. Deep Lurker's good. Benara Knifer. Thorns is always good. Needed Brute. And Zenith Monk. Zenith Monk is a nice one. Neutral, it has heal. It's got decent health. So yeah, 4 commons and a rare. Exactly an average pack. Alright. Epic 4 common. Was it an epic? I thought it said rare. I don't know. Alright, let's go buy some potions. And once again, thank you to whoever updated this limit. We're probably not going to get through 5 200s. Let's do 4,000 each. That was the legendary potion. And going kind of slow. Yeah, but you got to kick the server. All right, let's go over to the alchemy. 4,000. Okay. And open. Do multiples. I wonder if this limit was raised. Oh, it was. Oh. How many can I do? Can I do 250? Can I do 300? 400? The limit was 200, Jarvie, and now it's not. So somebody updated something. I love it. So I gotta. How many packs can I open now? So 4,600 divided by 5. I can open 920 packs. All right, let's do 400. One of the things about opening packs is that it's based on random blockchain data, from whatever block you open it in. So if you get a bad roll, it'll affect the whole thing. So, there's a balance there to be made between opening easiness and averaging out that luck. All right, so open. I can't open more than 200. It's my little thing's blocking the error message. So 200 is still the limit. I was all excited. Okay, so let's open that. Yes. So looking at ROI indicates the cards that are most in demand. I'm asking if you know which cards, generally speaking, always rent. So that's a good question. Pretty much all of the Chaos Legion rewards are renting really well. But if you talk to the guys who run the rental golem, they are compiling some data, and hopefully it'll be available soon. In that you could look and see, what is renting well. But right now, just as a class, Chaos Legion rewards are doing really well on a ROI kind of basis. Quicks, Jim Murat, Zyvax, great name. Scorching, Desert Dragon. Fungus Fiend. Oh, a gold penny striker. That's nice. Soul Fiend. Point Fiend. I got 6 of those. That's pretty good. Let's see what Ilya. Ilya's definitely of the low leagues. He's definitely number 1 summoner. So yeah, Jarby, if you get good luck, that does work in your favor, but I don't get good luck. Oh, Gold Legionnaire Alvar. Nice. So 1 GFL. Out of 200 packs, that's pretty good. Adelaide Brightwing. Alright, nice. Got a GFL there. I am very happy with that. And he's not my favorite GFL, but he's solid. Alright. Let's close that. Do we have time for one more? Let's get kind of close. Alright, we'll do one more. And then that'll bring us to the hour. So thanks everybody for coming out. Bottom line, prices are up, chest values are up, licenses are cheap, which I think they shouldn't be, but you guys do what you want. That's kind of the the upshot of the changes and the new season. Alright. 11 Celestial Hermes. 20 Blinding Reflectors. Man, Blinding Reflectors are in every silver man. A gold epic? That's nice. Okay. Alright, we got some legendary going. 2 Jin Murats. Part of the problem with Chaos Legion is bouncing and stuff. Queen Mycelia. Very nice. 2 Desert Dragons. 6. 10 Zenith Monks. That's good. Chaos Dragon. Third Order. 2 Ryback Blues. Oh, Gift can't go to Splinterfest. Yeah, that was, them changing the date, I think, is not a nice thing to do. But, figure out the date and then announce. Not announce and then change. I got a gold Thaddeus Brood, though. Alright. Not too bad. Not as good as the first one, but not too bad. Alright, so that does bring us to the end of the show. I am planning on going to Splinterfest. It's now in October instead of September, so I don't remember which dates, but I hope to see you all there. But for now, that's it for this week, and we'll catch you next time.